The New York Rangers have made quite a few different moves so far this season, making quite a few different trades while also extending a couple players as well. And some of those players that have been traded and have been extended have been defensemen. So in today's video, we're going to take an in-depth look at the New York Rangers kind of defense core right now and kind of see how it looks for right now and kind of also going forward as well, and kind of look at the possible defense pairs and kind of see who could be on this team after this season as well, because we have seen a lot of changes to this D-core. We saw the Jacob Trouba trade. We obviously saw, Urho Vakanainen come back in that deal. Then we saw Lindgren dealt away. Calvin DeHaan come back. Well, Borgen came in the Kakko deal. He got the extension. Urho got the extension now. So there has been a lot of different moves, and obviously we've just saw Carson Soucy traded for as well, and with him having another year under contract, he's going to be sticking around more than likely for next season as well. So like I said, in today's video, we're going to kind of take an in-depth look at this D-core because it has changed up a whole lot since the beginning of this season. So let's start off here by taking a look at all the New York Rangers defensemen that are under contract for next season. Then we'll take a look at all the RFAs and UFAs as well for this upcoming offseason. So first off, the players who are already signed through next season and have a specific contract is Adam Fox, Will Borgen, Carson Soucy, Braden Schneider, and now Urho Vakanainen, as he is the most recent recipient of an extension from the New York Rangers. The RFAs are going to be K'Andre Miller and Zach Jones, and then for the UFAs, it is going to be a couple veteran defensemen there in Chad Ruhwedel and Calvin DeHaan. So the Rangers are not at any kind of risk at all at possibly, losing one of their better defensemen, let's say, in free agency, which is very good after trading away Ryan Lindgren. The Rangers cashed in on that expiring contract, which I think was, a phenomenal move. There was a very smart one to get back some good assets there. I mean, a second-round pick is not too bad, and also some other stuff as well. Another pick, Yuso, Parson in there. You also got Calvin DeHaan, a solid kind of depth guy there. So I think overall that trade was pretty good there, and, moving off Ryan Lindgren, I think it makes a lot of sense. And now having a guy like Carson Soucy who's able to kind of take one of those spots there on the left side over a guy like Ryan Lindgren, let's say, I definitely like that a little more with Soucy's size and all that kind of stuff. So obviously, I think adding in maybe one more kind of truly, really good defenseman would be ideal, like a number 2 caliber kind of guy or another kind of top pairing caliber defenseman. Obviously, that would be ideal, but if Rangers can't get another one of those guys, at least they still have a really solid kind of core group of defensemen here with a bit of depth as well. K'Andre Miller is a really interesting player because I think, maybe we do see him traded away finally. I mean, there have been a lot of talks about a possible trade happening, at some point with K'Andre and maybe him being involved in a pretty big deal potentially. There have been some rumors here and there, so maybe we do see the trade happen. And I think this offseason, you really have to kind of decide if you're the Rangers on kind of what you want to see going forward with K'Andre Miller. Do you want to see him be a part of this team's future, or do you want to see him kind of moved on there and cash in on some value before it potentially drops off even more if you don't have much faith in him, kind of getting even better and getting more consistent as a player going forward? So I think there are a lot of question marks around a guy like K'Andre Miller, but obviously, he does probably have some good value right now. I think he's playing, decent at moments, and that's the thing. I mean, K'Andre shows so many flashes of being such a great defenseman, but then it's just, the next game he might play absolutely terrible, or the next play he might have a major kind of lapse defensively and it costs a goal. So I think it'll be very interesting to kind of see what happens with K'Andre Miller, and of course, I'll have you all updated with that situation once we get there in the offseason. But taking a look at the other RFA, though, and that is Zach Jones, who I think for kind of his sake and his playing career, what's probably best is for him to move on from the Rangers. I think he has been a very nice kind of depth defenseman at moments. I mean, him being your 7th guy is not bad at all, but if we're being honest, for him and himself and his playing career, I think what's best is to move on. Now, for the Rangers, he got brought back as that number 7 guy. I think that wouldn't be the worst thing for the Rangers because at moments he can definitely have a pretty good impact on this team. Come playoff time, he may not be the exact kind of type of defenseman you want to have on your team because maybe you want more of a kind of bigger, tougher, more physical kind of defensive guy. But I think overall in the regular season there, he is a phenomenal number 7 guy. But I think for himself and kind of his playing career, he really needs to kind of move on from the Rangers there to kind of hopefully for his sake get more of an opportunity, maybe with a kind of a worse team out there who maybe needs more of a kind of offensive guy because the Rangers have Adam Fox there. So when Foxy is healthy, it obviously kind of hurts Zach Jones' kind of, chances of playing, obviously a lot more. But when Foxy is out, we see what Zach Jones can do. So he obviously has a lot of talent there. But with the Rangers going forward, I'm not just quite sure he's really going to be able to get that kind of ice time that he probably wants to get in his playing career, obviously, with him being still a young guy. I'm sure he wants to really kind of see what he can do at the NHL level. And with the Rangers, I'm just not sure he's going to quite get that opportunity. And now for the UFAs, the Rangers have Calvin DeHaan and Chad Ruhwedel. It definitely is possible one of them get brought back as kind of a nice kind of depth defenseman. We'll have to wait and see, but either one wouldn't be bad options to bring back, but you're definitely not going to bring any of these guys back. More than likely to be in that kind of top 6 consistently, I would guess. And for the 5 defensemen that are signed through next season, you have Adam Fox, Will Borgen, Carson Soucy, Braden Schneider, and Urho Vakanainen, who are all making a combined $20.6 million for next season. So I think that's a pretty solid kind of, core of 5 defensemen there. It's not bad at all. Obviously, maybe you want to add in another kind of higher-end talent guy, and that's where I kind of wonder whether or not the Rangers will look to possibly trade away a guy like K'Andre and then look to kind of upgrade that spot, because I think this team could really benefit from adding in another kind of top pairing caliber guy. I mean, we have Foxy, who is definitely a top pairing kind of guy, obviously number 1 caliber guy, but I think this team is lacking another kind of high-end defenseman, and I think that's exactly what this team really needs to add in this offseason, ideally. So if they can trade away K'Andre, maybe it isn't a package for a higher-end guy, whether they do like K'Andre, a couple of high prospects and a first, whatever it is, to go up there and really upgrade that spot. I think it would be very smart for this team. There are going to be some solid guys in free agency as well, so maybe they look to kind of add a defenseman in there, but I think if we can upgrade that kind of K'Andre Miller spot, trade him away, because he does have that RFA kind of rights this offseason. I think you trade him away, get back some assets, and then look to kind of upgrade that spot. It would not be a bad idea at all, because I think Chris Drury has done a pretty good job of kind of reshaping this defense core and giving it a pretty solid kind of base and a pretty good floor, but I think the ceiling for this defense core isn't quite there and kind of where it needs to be. So adding in a kind of higher end guy I think would be very smart, but the floor of this defense core is really solid there. You have a lot of really solid guys there. It's not a bad defense core, but adding in one more higher end guy I think to this kind of group would be really good. But now taking a look at the defense pairs that we saw in the game against the Ottawa Senators on Saturday, the first game with Carson Soucy now in the lineup, and then we'll take a look at kind of the defense pairs that I want to see once Foxy does get healthy, obviously, because it is expected for him to make a return at some point. So for the defense pairs against the Ottawa Senators on Saturday, where the Rangers ended up going up 3-1 and then having a really brutal kind of choke there in the third period. But taking a look there at the defense core against Ottawa, we ended up seeing on that top pair K'Andre Miller and Will Borgen, who have played quite good together. Then we saw Urho Vakanainen and Braden Schneider, who also have played pretty good together since becoming a pair. And then that third pair, we saw Carson Soucy and Zach Jones. And these are pretty much the exact pairs that I kind of want to see once we do have Adam Fox back in the lineup. Once he gets healthy, I kind of want to see something that looks like on the top pair, Carson Soucy alongside Adam Fox, then Miller and Borgen, and then Vakanainen and Schneider. So it's pretty much the same there, just kind of obviously swapping, a couple things around here with Foxy coming back for Zach Jones pretty much. Other than that, it's pretty much the exact same pairs. And I don't think that's bad at all. Really, Soucy, I think, can be an upgrade over a guy like Lindgren playing alongside Fox. You get that bigger, a bit more kind of physical defenseman. Maybe he can be a bit more reliable. And obviously, Lindgren had his moments of being a very good player for this team. And over the many seasons he played for the Rangers, he had some really good ones on that top pair alongside Fox. But as of late, he definitely hasn't quite played as good as he has in the past at moments. So I think moving on from him and adding in a guy like Soucy, who's definitely going to be more physical than a guy like Lindgren, who's also going to be, about half a foot taller than Lindgren as well. So you obviously have that major size difference there with a guy like Soucy compared to a guy like Lindgren. So I think going forward, this could be a really interesting pair where you have that big, tough, physical defenseman who can hit, who can block shots, be a good or reliable defensive guy, playing alongside Foxy, I think could work out quite well. And in last year's playoffs with Vancouver, he did have the opportunity to try and shut down Connor McDavid's line at moments, so he has had some experience going up against the other team's kind of top lines there and trying to shut down them. So playing alongside Fox, maybe he gets a bit of that opportunity with the Rangers. We'll have to wait and see if the Rangers do make playoffs, obviously, and if they do, whether or not Soucy gets that opportunity. But he has that experience there. He's obviously been up against some very top players, trying to shut them down. So that is obviously nice having that experience there. And he's not some elite guy, but I think going alongside Foxy there, especially with what Lindgren did this season, I think he could definitely be a decent upgrade over him. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button as I post every single day at 9 a.m. Plus, if the trade breaks or some big news breaks, of course, I'll have a video up as soon as possible after the news does break about the New York Rangers. So hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on today's video. What do you want to see for the defense pairs going forward? Which guys do you want to see brought back? Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you next one, and let's go Rangers.